What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting into this Prime 1 quarter scale Femto statue from the Berserk line, again from Prime 1. This thing's out of control and I'm really excited to get into this box and see what's going on with this. So without further ado, let's crack this thing open, start putting it together, and see what Prime 1 has in store for us. Alright guys, now that we got that insanely tall shipper box out the way, I don't know if you noticed in the unboxing of the shipper, but I couldn't get the shipper off of this box without hitting the ceiling. So haven't really had that problem quite yet until now, but apparently that's gonna be a thing with statues this size now. So let's take a look at the box art here. We got Femto coming out of the egg, manifesting and becoming the 5th member of the Godhead. So, Ultimate Premium Master Line by Prime 1, Femto, the Falcon of Darkness. Beautiful artwork here. It doesn't really get any better than Prime 1 and their box art. This is absolutely amazing. You can see all the detail here. Got the brand of sacrifice right here. And of course, this beautiful Prime 1 monochromatic black and red artwork that they put on all the boxes. I really love this side. They did the whole series like this. Eventually, when I get the line, I'm gonna have to take a photo of all the characters side by side looking like this. Femto, Falcon of Darkness, and then Brand of Sacrifice again. And then up here is just Femto's name in Japanese and nothing on the bottom. So, let's go ahead and open this thing up and start pulling it all out. Okay guys, now that we got this thing out of the box finally, figured there's even a few things about the foam I'd like to share with you guys. It says top right here, so you have an idea of how to open this, which is really important. And I hope other statue companies take this up. It's a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. It says top right here, and on the other side it says bottom, obviously, so you know which way to open it so that everything is nice and safe. So, okay, I'm gonna open this, we're gonna take out each piece, kind of look at each piece. I'm gonna be setting it to the side and then we're gonna assemble it. So this isn't actually my first Prime 1 piece. My first Prime 1 piece was the Eva Unit 1 from the Evangelion series, of the Eva Unit 1 in the hangar. kind of sitting in the blood liquid. So I did get a chance to see the quality that Prime 1 is capable of doing, but this is a substantially bigger piece with way more detail, and it's also a lot more organic subjects rather than like a mech or robot design element. So this is going to be really interesting. And this thing is way more involved than the Ava unit statue was. Again, that was just the bust, not the full diorama. That thing is, the diorama is really large, and I will be adding that to the collection one day. But we're gonna keep going with this guy first. Got some nice tissue paper here. Oh my God, I already am tripping. I am tripping. This is, you can see pictures and video on the internet, but nothing is like a Prime 1 piece in person. This is like another level, absolutely amazing. So this is the EX version, so we do have an extra part in here, so we're gonna go over all of that too, but let's just start with each piece. So let's start with, personally, the part I like the most and what kind of made me search for the EX a bit more. This right here is the EX exclusive part. It's the egg that Griffith always has around his neck. Absolutely the creepiest thing ever. We know that when the time is right, the face forms, creates the egg around Griffith himself, and then thus Femto is born. So the detail on this is awesome. The texture is awesome. I like the base, replicates the base that all these go with. But this is a really cool exclusive piece. I like that you get this whole little element here. It's not just like an extra hand or an extra little portrait or something. This is actually a whole new element, and I really love it. Felt on the bottom, so it's nice and soft. This is great. I'm gonna set it right over here. Nice, safe area. So, we're getting one of Femto's hands here. I'm already getting a sense of the scale that this guy's gonna be, but I love the articulation of the hand so far. We'll get into that with the review, but I'm just really excited. I want to talk about all this stuff. So, again, we'll set that guy over there. Here's our other hand with the claws. The biomech looking texture is just absolutely amazing. Love it. So here's maybe the crown jewel of the whole piece. This is the portrait. So we got Femto here, formerly Griffith, with the helmet. The paint inside on the face is unreal. So, yeah, the glossiness, the eyeliner, the paint in the eye, everything. This thing is just absolutely amazing, and we're gonna get into the details and show you guys some really good close-ups of it soon. Okay, big pieces. So this is actually a piece of the egg that Femto will be coming out of when he is reborn into the God Hand. This is out of control. Actually, this is probably what sold me on this piece. I needed Femto, I absolutely love the character, but the griminess and the detail inside of this egg is disgusting, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. And this is kind of what sold me on the statue right here. Other part of the egg, more of the inside intestines. This like vein work and the fleshy, gummy, fatty tissue. It's just absolutely beautiful. And we got the first eye portrait here, crying blood. Man, I really love the detail in the eye here, so this is beautiful. Sorry, just arranging my parts over here, so I got all the room for this monster, literally and figuratively. I'm also unboxing this for the very first time, so if anything is wrong with this statue as far as shipping, breaks, or anything, you guys are experiencing this with me. So far, it looks like it's packaged really well, so I'm not too concerned. Plus, it's a really strong... There are parts I can tell that could break, but it seems a pretty strong structure. You guys, out of control. Look at the teeth edge here. Look at the fleshy, fatty tissue. You just know that like something could be born in this. It really looks true to like a disgusting flesh. And then the texture of the egg out here, everything absolutely beautiful. I really can see where Prime 1 gets their reputation from. This is amazing. All right, let's make sure that's everything in this level. Seems to be so. So now we're moving on to level 2, which is going to be Femto, his body, and the base. I'm really glad this didn't come in 2 boxes. Now the box is humongous. We all saw that. But I would rather 1 large box than 2 smaller boxes. If you've paid for a statue to get shipped to you overseas, you know why. I love that crack of that seal. That is really satisfying. Okay, so... Oh, the cape. Totally forgot about that. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the base. Holy shit. This is amazing. Again, I've seen pictures and some video on YouTube of this unboxing, but again, you just can't, it's just so much more in person. Oh, I'm actually really impressed with the base. Like, obviously the detail's amazing, but it's not too, it has some weight to it, but it's not too heavy. I kind of thought it maybe would have been a little bit heavier. We got the traditional Celtic design going around. This is the theme for the quarter scale here. I was looking for where the Brand of Sacrifice logo goes, but maybe this one doesn't have it. Oh, let's look at the bottom. Oh, there we go. Prime 1 Studios, Ultimate Premium Format Femto, the Falcon of Darkness, number 50 of 350, the EX version. Yeah, cool high number. I'm glad I didn't get one that was painted right at the very end when they're super over it. As statue collectors, we always like a high number or like a... That's always a little exciting. You know, you didn't get number 340 of 350, you know? Okay. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. The texture on it's beautiful. Everything's really readable. It's not too dark and it's hiding everything. And the anatomy is unreal. I look at anatomy references all the time because like I'm a full-time artist myself, so I really appreciate the detail to anatomy that they stick with on this. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm running out of space to put all this stuff. All right, and the last piece. Wow. Holy shit, this is absolutely beautiful. The cape. You guys, the cape is serious. Let's grab our little blade here. Being super careful. Please take off carefully the protection wrap surrounding the cape to prevent any damage by the cutter or scissors. Smart. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is like very next level. Super beautiful, not too heavy, but feels really solid. Wow, absolutely beautiful. So, what we are going to do is get rid of this foam, lay out all the pieces, assemble it together so we can see how this thing goes. Now, I know Prime 1 is very particular about the order in which the statue is put together, which is why you get this handy dandy instructions. So we're gonna follow this, put it together, look at the whole thing, talk about the details, and check it all out. Let's have some fun. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and start with the assembly. Again, we're gonna start with the base here. It's already on our turntable, so we can get some cool angles of it. We got the instructions here, so we make sure we're doing this right. Let's go ahead and look at the base before we assemble everything on it. If you're familiar with the manga or the anime, you know that in this hellacious kind of underworld that the God Hand manifests in due to the eclipse, they're actually walking and standing on all of these tortured souls' faces, which is absolutely amazing. So what we'll do is show you guys all the faces here that he stands on. Each one is different. Each one has a slightly different expression. The detail in that is amazing, and I'm really glad that they like went with that and gave each face its own thing going on, and I feel like I could look at it for a really long time and it not get old. So the first thing we're going to start with is putting the cape on Femto himself. So let's grab Femto. Very gently, set him there. Let's grab this massive cape. Got our cape. Now, it definitely says to put the cape on Femto first, then put him in the base. That seems weird, but I'm gonna listen, I guess. I'd rather put him in the base and then the cape, but I'm gonna do what the instructions say. Nice. It's pretty easy. There we go. So everything comes down onto this one leg and then keys into the base here on one foot, where this foot is actually taking a step. So it's cool. It's not planted with 2 feet. Makes it a little bit more dynamic. I like that. I'm glad they went with that. Okay, so we're gonna start creating the egg around him. So let's find the biggest piece with the teeth. And here's the biggest piece of the egg with the teeth. We are going to put it here. All right, so far so good. We are going to do his other side. Let's grab that. Other eye. You guys, this is out of control. I'm being really cool about this right now, and I'm trying to be like, yeah, man, it looks great. This is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna be really not cool about this for a second and just gush and tell you how awesome this piece is. It's really, 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 really impressive. Let's get the third piece. Last piece here, the back piece. Okay, nice and snug. Wow, okay. That went a lot smoother than I thought. So a tiny little tip of the cape is actually touching the egg back here, very little bit. But right here in the instructions, it says that you can actually take a blow dryer to it and it would just slowly move it off. It's not really like affecting anything, so I don't really think I'm gonna do that. But it is making contact, but again, like nothing crazy. I don't think it's jeopardizing the statue in any way. But for this being so dynamic and having so much like openness in it, I really like that it's just a handful of pieces. There's really not too much going on in the construction of the statue itself. It's nice and simple, but just really looks dynamic. So the next part we are going to be going to is Femto's hands and then his portrait. Let's make sure. Oh, here we go. Cool. So this magnet's a little weak. The hand is very light, so I don't think it's gonna be a thing, but the magnet's a little weak. It also lines up here, but not so much here. So what it seems like is this magnet hangs out like a fraction, just a little bit too much. It locks on, obviously, and you can't really know, especially here, you don't notice it, but if you're looking down on his wrist, there is a small gap. It's not the end of the world, but of course we'd all like it to fit really snug, but not the end of the world. It looks okay. So final piece, the cherry on the sundae, if you will. The portrait. That locks in really good. And that's the full construction, guys. So ultimately, it's the base, the 3 parts of the egg, the body, the cape, 2 hands, the portrait, and my favorite part, the egg. Wow, guys, this is absolutely beautiful. So let's get into all the details. Let's start the review about it and talk about all the things that I love about this thing, because most of it, I love pretty much everything. So let's get into it, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay guys, so let's get into all the details of this incredible piece. Let's just start with the base and work our way up, shall we? The base has this gorgeous Celtic design here that is a reoccurring theme on this entire line. I really like this base a lot. The 3rd scale base is really nice and it lights up, but this is really, really beautiful, and you get so much more with it than the other base, than like say the 1/3 scale guts. Yeah, really beautiful here. I kind of wish they would have put the Brand of Sacrifice logo here that kind of matches the rest of the line. I get that they have this egg piece here, but I really think they could have just removed this part and added that. It would have kind of gone with the rest of the line, but that's okay. That's just more of a preference. The base is so powerful and so intense that ultimately you really don't need anything else besides what's happening. I love that he's standing on the faces of the tortured souls here. Each face is different, has a unique expression. Some has like skin rotting off, some are straight up skulls with eyeballs. It's absolutely amazing. This hunk of flesh he's standing on is really beautiful. It's not, I like that they let the faces be semi-gloss, almost like not super shiny, but they let the shininess be in this gummy, fatty tissue that's inside of the egg. It complements, the more matte finish on the faces really complements the tissue inside of the egg. You really get a sense that this is so much more wet than what's happening down here. I think that's great. Femto himself keys into the base through his right foot only. So the left foot has this elevated pose, and it really gives him a sense of femininity that I like, that the character's really known for. The fact that his hand is in this soft, welcoming kind of pose, it actually makes him even more intimidating because we know how badass he really is, but he's being almost kind of welcoming, and it's essentially he's the devil, so like it's pretty horrifying to be honest with you. So let's go into the egg. I love the bleeding tears. This is absolutely amazing. This is super smooth, and this has some really beautiful texture and cracks. The glossiness of the eye. I maybe would have suggested that they, sorry, that's my cat, please ignore that. But I kind of wish that they would have maybe made this texture a little bit more flat and made this a higher gloss. It's all kind of the same glossiness, but again, that's just personal preference. It's not a bad thing. I personally I would have made, the tears extra wet, the eye extra wet, the gums extra wet, and then maybe knock this down with a touch of matte. But ultimately, that's just preference. It looks absolutely fantastic. And then let's get into the anatomy of the egg here. I really like the thickness in the brow, the thickness in the nose, because you know that there is some cartilage and some fat going on in there. It's very believable. The split teeth here where you can see inside is just an absolutely great idea. Looks amazing. The inside of the flesh, we've talked about this already, or I have, because I can't seem to get over it, but the underlying veins inside of the flesh looks very believable. It's really transparent and pretty disgusting, but in a really beautiful way. I think if you're into this stuff, you're into things that can be pretty grotesque, but also really beautiful from an artistic standpoint. So again, continuing the fleshy, muscly vein texture inside. Absolutely amazing. I really like the stacked nature of the egg here. It really looks like it has cracked and shifted. Very believable. These tips here are, got a little foam there. These tips here are pretty small on the end, but feel pretty strong. I think that I could ship this to somebody anywhere, and I really think it's gonna be just fine. They package it really well for this being like a pretty thin piece. It feels strong, which is really important to me as a collector. I get really bummed. I know that breaks are a thing with this hobby, but it straight up bums me out. So I'm really looking for the a strong integrity in the statue, just for anxiety's sake. So Femto standing on the one foot like we talked about. He's got this other one kicked up that's creating this sensuous kind of femmy pose that I really love. And again, continue with the anatomy. It's absolutely amazing. They crush it, the anatomy. It's a delicate blend of being true to what real anatomy is, but also pushing it and making it more fantastic and bringing more of that fantasy element to it, but also it needs to be believable, and the artist needs to look like he has a true understanding of the anatomy so that he can push it even further and make it even more believable. So I love the hands. I love the biomechanical texture on the hands. Very Giger inspired. This all kind of originated in the 90s, and I feel like that was a really big thing going on. Was biomechanical, kind of alien. Everything was, a lot of my favorite things were inspired by Giger, and it's so obvious. So down the hands here, let's talk about the cape. The cape is amazing. It definitely has muscle structure and bone going on in there, so it's not just this fabric flowy cape. You get a sense that there's knuckles or joints going on in here. There's a lot of muscle going on, almost like the cape is a part of his body himself. It's a really great idea. And then this biomech texture forming down to the spine with these orb kind of shapes showing, just bulking up his muscle. It looks like the cape is actually functional, which is great. It kind of just looks like a beautiful design in the anime or manga, but in this 3D rendering, you really get a sense of believability that this thing could actually help him move and flex a little bit. Again, I love the pose of the hand. It's very soft, which makes him even creepier. And then the portrait is unreal. The skin has this really beautiful matte texture. The lips have a gloss to semi-gloss kind of effect. Really sharp edge on the lips. He's got a little bit of a lipstick thing going on, which pulls into his femme vibe. I mean, he is femto, so I like that he is very femmy. He's very like almost feminine in his pose, but it just makes him so much scarier in my opinion. The portrait is absolutely beautiful. I love that it's sitting inside of the mask. That's really interesting and complex. I can get in there and see detail. They really made sure that if you get in this and look at any angle, it's all really beautiful inside of this helmet. His eyes have this really exaggerated eyeliner that just really encapsulates the character. It's really amazing. The glossy eyes are extra wet. It's absolutely beautiful. So what I might end up doing is applying a little bit of a blow dryer here to push this down. It's sitting off about maybe 1/8 of an inch. Again, straight on, you don't really notice it. It almost looks like that shoulder that's bent back is kind of pushing it forward. It looks a little more natural, but I think I could get it to sit down a bit more. Maybe a little bit of heat in the back to let the cape come a little closer to Femto. It is touching back here, but again, it's very gentle. It's really nothing of my concern. So, believe it or not, I think my turntable here is having a time with turning the weight of this because this is a little bit bigger than what we're used to reviewing on the channel. Absolutely beautiful, guys. If you're thinking about this piece or you have an opportunity to get one, especially this EX version, do not sleep. The money will come and go, but the statue is limited. Again, this is number 50 of 350. It's gorgeous, guys. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love the size. It's big, but not too big. It is pretty wide. Pretty wide, but that's okay. But not too deep. It's really not too deep at all. So, the final piece is the EX version of this statue. So again, you notice that the base here replicates this base. It's a really good idea. I love this little platform, this little metal harness that's actually holding the egg. That looks really great. So this is the egg before the crack happens, before it actually grows and consumes Griffith himself. The expression's really great. The depth in the mouth's great. The grime on the teeth is good. It's really good. It's super believable. It looks like plaque enamel. It's just absolutely gross. Really gross. The texture is wonderful. This is beautiful, and this is actually one of my favorite elements of this story, is this guy here. He was kind of the first fantasy element or the first supernatural element that appears in the manga or the anime, if I do believe. So that's pretty much it, guys. I absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. I would say maybe an 8 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 being like absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is probably a really strong 8. The only reason why I'm really not giving it the full full out of 10 is this tiny little gap I have here in the wrist. That's like, I think that could have been checked in QC. So that little thing, it's not really bothering me, but it's not perfect. So a 10 out of 10 is perfect. What else? This little part of the cape here, but it's full disclosure. It tells you right here that there might need to be some adjustments due to the nature of the material. Again, maybe a little bit more gloss. Maybe a little bit more gloss here. I know I just said that about comparing it to here, but this could be a little wetter. And I think this could be wetter, and this could have been more matte, just like this is more matte than this. So if they would have gone with this like they did here, we would have had a higher gloss going down with that. That's just my personal preference. So all those together, I would say this is probably an 8 out of 10 for me. Still an absolutely fantastic piece. I love this character, I love this series. Wow, this is unreal. So if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. Go ahead and give us a comment down there if you guys have any questions or any suggestions or anything like that. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. That's awesome for our channel. And please subscribe and hit the notification bell and keep up with all the new things we have coming in this month. We have more Berserk coming in, more pieces from this line, from the quarter scale master, premium master line, ultimate premium master line. So we have Zod on the way, we have Guts himself on the way, we have the God Hand pre-ordered. So all of that will be coming. I'm very excited to get into it. Thanks for joining us as always, and stick around for the next wild thing that we will be getting in and displaying and sharing with you guys. Take care. Thanks for joining us. See you later.
Perfect.